and then you take that phone and you put it on like you would normally hang the phone up, and it's got like a a little earpiece here and a little mouthpiece there, and it's got a handle, and so the piece here, and you're talking into it, and then you hang the thing up, and there's a metal bell that rings, and if you could hang it up, slam it down there, the bell would ring. Okay, called phone couplers, a phone coupler. Okay. And what you would do is take that phone and you put it onto the phone coupler. Now the phone coupler basically is a different box, but it's got two little grommets that are basically kind of like your earpieces here. They've got it makes a seal, so it cuts out any background noise. And then like if you're familiar with what a modem sounds like, the little the little feedback carrier signal, Sorry, it's just like a memorized fucking phone number. Sorry, but that was the old days. But so I got invited to a party at Jason's house. Let's go down that road. Okay, at Jason's house, Jason's parties. Okay, hanging out with Jason. That was a blast. It was a fucking blast. I had never had so many interesting, fascinating conversations with people as I had hanging out at a barbecue at Jason's house. I didn't want to leave. I didn't want to go. I had a weekend. Oh, that was fantastic. Fantastic. Extraordinary. I get back from Jason's house. Just a couple people hanging out at that time. Got down there. Professor Y was down there. I didn't know you guys were going to be here. You think you're going to have all the fun by yourself? I get back to Dr. X. I never see both of them at the same time. He said, "Did you like the party? Did you have a good time?" I said, "I had a blast. I never knew that there were that you could have that kind of fun. I never knew." He says, they might be having another one, maybe about a week long, coming up in a couple months. How do you feel about that? You think you might want to hang out? You willing to go down? Make another, I know it's a long way to go. I know he's out of the way, but he's a bit of a distance. I mean, shit, you gotta go all the way down to San Diego. I know it's a rough one, but they got some good beaches if you ever, want to go and, I know you like to surf, right? And this is the conversation that I'm having. You know what I mean? I'm repeating the conversation to you right now. I had no idea. No idea. He says, good. I'm glad to hear that. He says, it's going to be a kind of a focal point of conversation next at the next party. I said, okay. What are we going to talk about? Because I have no idea. I had no idea. No idea. No idea. He says, well, let me do this for you a little bit. Come with me. Let's go have some lunch. You want to do some lunch? I said, I don't care. I want to follow you like a little puppy dog for the rest of my life. Where are we going? You can put a leash and a collar around me. Just don't let me lose track from you. He says, Let's go grab a pizza. Instead of cannoli, but anyway. You know, I don't know if he said a pizza or some shit. I honestly don't remember what he fucking said, but like I'm living on pizza. I gotta be careful about people talking about pizza because now they got the damn pizza thing with the kids and that's nothing to do with that's nothing. That whole subject is completely unrelated. I had none. That's not even. I don't remember exactly what he said about going to lunch, but it was something like grab a pizza or some shit like that. I think that's what he said. But anyway. And so we go. I have a wonderful conversation. And he says, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? What are your thoughts on this? Have you ever thought about something like this before? What comes to your mind when you see this? I just... I don't know. I'm trying real hard to... Again, if we were face to face, I could say this to you. I could whisper into your ear with a handshake, okay? With a handshake and a hug on the back. I could tell you the world. But I got to be real careful if I'm going to make a tape and put it on the inner zones, okay? Because God only knows who's going to see it. I'm at the point where I'm old and I'm dying. I got lung cancer and I really don't know how much longer I'm going to make it. Okay, it's fine. I don't want to last forever. My soul is prepared. I'm ready to meet my Maker. I'm not worried. Okay, I'm worried about you. I'm worried about you. I don't want you to grow up thinking that I was some monster. Okay? I was slandered like Donald Trump. Okay? Ask yourself, I ask you right now, ask yourself, do you honestly believe that Donald Trump flew over to Russia, invited a couple prostitutes up to a hotel that Obama stayed in so he could stand on the bed and urinate on it? Do you honestly believe that? As that metaphor stand and hold, that's what I was accused of. Really? Really? Because I told my torturer, your grandmother, my mother, that I was going to expose her to the world. That I was going to write a book. I was writing books at the time. I used to write a lot. That I was going to write a book and tell the world everything about her. It would end up on Oprah's Book of the Month Club, is what I said. And she says, you write a fucking book, I will bury you. At that point, you understand, I got more blindfolds than a fucking wardrobe. Bury me? I almost went to the Olympics for fucking judo if I hadn't gotten a motorcycle wreck. How the fuck are you going to bury me? So what happened? I'm dealing with your mother, bitching at me right and left about how unhappy she is that I'm not buying her this and buying her that and coming home and every other day she wants an ounce of fucking weed. An ounce of weed, that's like $500 a day, dude. At the time, I don't know what it is today. $500 a day for an ounce of marijuana. Because it's not just like she and I were just smoking, okay? I didn't smoke. That's another thing. She one time accused me of being a heroin addict, okay? It was a time like we were going to coordinate to try and do a handoff with you. Sorry, guys. Sitting there leaning too much, I got creased on the arm, so I'm kind of stuck to a thing. We were going to kind of coordinate. After she dropped off, I was able to catch up with her a little bit. Like she was basically like I said, after she went double or nothing on me and came out with nothing. Okay, well, my great-grandmother, your great-great-grandmother, was the Midway station. So in the day when she was going off to go for her little job, she was going to come over and drop you off at her house, at Daddy's house. This is how I talk about when let's finish that one for a second. We'll talk about Jason in a minute. I cough up tar that you smoke. trying to be gross, but like, if you can see, it's kind of dried out. This is kind of a little older one. There's little bits of, right now I got a majority of the chunks out, but there's little bits, but the stuff that you cough up has, well, if you ever smoke, please don't smoke. Please don't smoke. Not that I'm saying like, oh, just because you don't smoke. It's because what it does is it basically is, it coats your lungs, and you're not going to see it. And you're not even going to feel it. You think it's cool, whatever, if you want to fit in, all that shit. But the first time you do it, your brain will make an association with it. And then once it's not the nicotine. Don't ever do the vape. That's a new industry, okay? But that little vapey thing is the nicotine. That just makes you need to have a cigarette every couple seconds. You know what I mean? The tar is where the real addiction is. That's what keeps you, that's what will have you digging through ashtrays. You know what I mean? Like, all that kind of stuff. Smoking cigarette butts. Like I said, your mother made sure that I had no career. I got canceled, and so I ended up being homeless for 15 years. 15 years. Now, like I said, trying to be real polite about this one, so I'm not gonna like point fingers and really like. I asked your mother just to follow my lead. I said, baby, I love you, but there are things I cannot tell you. Okay? Trust me, have faith, follow my lead. Okay? If you need to stand on my toes, just stand on my toes. Just follow my step. Let me lead this dance. That wasn't good enough for her. 6-figure income wasn't good enough for her. NASA wasn't good enough for her. Jason wasn't good enough for her. Treat wasn't good enough for her. Really? Well, what the fuck is good enough for her? Look, woman, if you're listening, what the fuck would have been good enough for you? Honestly. What would have convinced you to just shut the fuck up, stop screaming at me, and quit spending my money? Talk to the mother right now. What, honestly? Do you know what it means to be faithful? Do you understand what infidelity means? Okay? Like, when I just come home at the end of a long day of putting a satellite on fucking Saturn, okay? Or I come home from a day of putting a satellite through the fucking tail of a comet, or I come home from the day of driving on fucking Mars, or I come home from a fucking day of landing on Titan and circling Saturn, or when I come home from a day of solar radiation management, SRM, when I come home from a day of playing God, okay? When I come home from a day of making fucking rain, my son, do you know that your father made rain? You don't understand what I'm talking about. I want you to look into solar radiation management. You've got an internet. We call them SRM. Okay? SRM is solar radiation management. Okay? I had a CTS-4 clearance. CTS-4 clearance. And that all fucking vaporized! Because your mother couldn't shut the fuck up and stop screaming at me. Do you understand? You probably don't. The SSBI not only looks into you, meaning myself, but it also looks into the person that you live with. Okay? Your children, your friends, associates, okay? All the different business dealings that you deal with, every single thing of what you do. Again, I had a